My name's Tyler.
And I'm James.
This is The Guide's Guide. Have you ever wished you could turn up in an area and feel like you fished it your entire life?
Well, today we're going to take you out fishing in Port Hardy and show you some of the local tips and tricks to enhance your chances of catching salmon. My father taught me at a young age, if I wanted to get to know an area, go down to the dock and speak to the guides. Well, today we're fortunate because we're going out with Wade Dayley, the owner and operator of Bear Cove Cottages and 𝗦𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗃 based in Port Hardy, the north end of Vancouver Island.
Yeah, what a beautiful spot out here. We got a nice blue, clear, sunny day. A little bit of wind on the water for the afternoon, but I think we're gonna have an awesome time on the water, and we're definitely gonna pull all the tips and tricks out of Wade that we possibly can for this area.
Absolutely.
What do you say we go fishing?
Let's go find him. Wade, good to see you, my friend.
Hardy.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Welcome. Great to have you guys, man. Can't wait to get out on the water with you guys. Been stoked thinking about it.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's get on the boat and go have some fun.
Let's go. Wade, I'm really looking forward to this. You're the go-to guide in Port Hardy. You're the owner and operator of Bear Cove Cottages and a guide with 𝗦𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗃𝗃. Want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Me and my wife bought some property here in Port Hardy in 1999, 4 acres. Decided to get into the ecotourism resort fishing business because we'd been working in it for a long time. So we're 22 years now in the business and been chartering here for all of those years. We're the only all-inclusive sports fishing resort in Port Hardy. So we offer the accommodations, boats, meal plans, custom fish processing, licensing. You just get yourself to Port Hardy and we take care of you from there.
I can tell by the way Wade drives this boat that it's not his first time out of this marina. It's a little windy out there, but we're gonna get out there and see what we can find and show you some of the hot spots around. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, here comes the wind.
These are the conditions
day.
we're gonna see. So if you want to come up here and fish the afternoon, this is what you can expect.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can totally still get out here on an afternoon like this and still fish it. You know, you just gotta know what you're getting up against.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, welcome to the west coast of British Columbia. This is what it's like whether you're on the east side of the island or the west side of the island. Sometimes we get wind and we just got to persevere and push through it because the salmon are out there waiting for us.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to go out in the morning, but if you can't, you've got to deal with the conditions that it throws at you.
There it is.
And a very typical morning, as we know, is winds building from the northwest in the afternoon.
And that's why we like to get up at 3:30 in the morning to get at the dock for 4 a.m. so that we can fish that nice calm period between 7 a.m. and 12 p.m.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely right. Early bird gets that worm.
100%.
Oh, and calm weather.
Yeah, and calm weather, yeah.
Generally.
The most important factor.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're an early bird and want to get up and fish those first 6-7 hours, that's your best opportunity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough. So on a typical day like today, when the wind is coming up like this, Wade, where would be a good spot for people to actually start off?
Well, we're going to start off at 𝗦𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃. It's probably the best local hot spot. I mean, I've been fishing it for, I don't want to date myself, but a long, long time since I was a kid. So, I mean, it holds the most fish.
Yeah.
Absolutely the best time to fish is on a flood tide if you can do it because it pushes bait and pushes the fish against the rock walls that we're going to drag around here tonight, and it just holds the fish there. But it's probably overall the best, most productive local spot. And it's only 3 miles. I mean, we can see it from here. It's only 3 miles from the marina. So you can be there quickly. You're not burning a lot of gas. You're not burning a lot of time. So your hooks are in the water quick. So.
And so you're going to fish that point, which kind of is shaped like this. Are you going to fish that inside so we're kind of protected from the northwest that's coming in? Or are you going to fish the outside of the point? What would be your recommendation?
We're gonna try both tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, the inside in this northwest, we're gonna be, as you'll see here in a minute, flat calm. It will be flat calm. And as we stick our nose around the corner, that northwest is coming down the straight, and you know we're gonna see it.
Sweet.
Hence being first thing in the morning, so you don't have this northwest. The back side of 𝗦𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃 is the most productive side of the point to fish. So getting up early and getting there is
awesome.
So you're not stuck in one spot.
This episode is brought to you by Parksville Boathouse, your full-service boat dealer and chandlery. Gone Fishing, serving Vancouver Island and beyond for over 30 years. West Coast Fishing Tackle, the quality anglers deserve.
There's not a lot of anchovy around right now, so
Right.
I'm finding there's needlefish, there's these little perch, little baby perch that are around, which represent some of our spoons really well.
Yeah, definitely.
But there doesn't seem to be any like big live bait, herring or anchovies around yet.
Okay, fair
Later in
enough.
the summer, August, late July,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's all
Yeah.
I'd be probably running is anchovies.
Maybe that's why when I was fishing here running bait, we weren't catching much because there wasn't bait around.
There you go. Probably exactly
Should
why.
have been doing spoons.
Yeah, spoons, coho
I think
killers.
we tried hoochies too, and that didn't work either.
No, it's just not conducive. Really rocky bottom here. It's not conducive to the squid being in here.
Okay.
There is some other areas that hold squid really well, and
Right.
that's all we run is turds and glow hoochies,
Okay.
and they're dynamite. But these areas I'm going to show you today are spoons and bait areas for sure, and it's a little early for bait right now, so we're going to do spoons.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Awesome. I love it.
And the spoons, obviously, Wade, are going to imitate the needlefish and the sand lance.
Yeah, 100% sand lance, and then these little perch. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's kind of new to the area in the last 4 or 5 years, but there's these little baby red perch that these fish are filled with, and it's really interesting trying to match that hatch, I guess, per se, because there's not a lot out there that looks like it. Red and black with a little gold on it. It's really an interesting little fish. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, I'm playing with it a little bit, but there's nothing really I can find on the market yet that's, holding it beside it and going, yeah, that's the one, right?
Okay. Interesting.
But we'll play around tonight and see what happens.
Cool.
So we're going to pull the throttles back here. As you can see, it's a little bit sporty out here this afternoon, as we talked about earlier, Tyler.
He's nautical.
The northwest comes up in the afternoon, so we generally would like to start around the corner in the mornings. It's fantastic. Like I said, on the flood tide, it's a really good tide to fish for the big fish. But we're going to turn around here, and we're going to sneak around this corner and fish the lee side of the wind. As you'll see here shortly, it's flat, calm. Caught a lot of fish in here too. So if you get here in the afternoon, you want to wet some lines and make sure the boat's running before you take off the next morning, you can always access the backside of east side of 𝗑𝗏𝗯𝗏 Point.
And this is a really good tactic for you guys at home too. When you got the wind coming in like this, run into the wind, turn your boat around, drop your gear, and fish with the wind so that you're heading back to shore, and you're gonna have a way better fishing experience than if you're trying to buck the wind heading out.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Tyler. You don't have to buck the wind. It's not driving your boat side to side. You literally don't have to have somebody driving the boat. It just kind of goes with the wind. So go to the top end and fish your way back. Absolutely.
All right, well, let's drop the cannonballs in the water and get fishing.
Let's go.
Sea's a bit breezy. Woo!
All right, Wade, talk us through what you'd like to start off with today.
Okay, so in this area, it depends on the time of year you're fishing here, James. We're here in late June right now, so we don't have a lot of bait fish in the area. Big bait fish, I should say. Generally, I fish some anchovies and maybe some herring later in July and August when that fish is here. But right now, I like the Glow Series flashers, West Coast Fishing Tackle and or Gibbs Tackle.
The black color out there.
I like the black colors. They're just my go-to, but the Glow, the Guide Series Glow is important. I just find it a better flasher.
And both of these, that's got a glow back, and that one's got a black back, highly reflective, and they both have moon jelly on them.
They do, yep.
Okay.
And they're fantastic. And these other two, they're moon jellies also, just different colors as you can see with the reflective
Yep,
backs.
getting more of our chartreusey green.
Yep, and sometimes it depends on watercolor and things like that, what I'm running. I like to kind of match that kind of stuff. And I also like to match, when we catch a fish here later today, I find that a lot of times the flashers match the color of my fish.
Okay.
Greens and golds, you'll get the green and gold, you'll be running the moon jelly and they're purple and blue on the back. I don't know if it's just coincidence or not, but...
Okay, Wade, so you showed us your favorite flashers. Now talk us through the spoons you're going to use.
So as mentioned, not a lot of big bait in the area right now, James, so we are using some smaller spoons, the 3 and the 1.5, I believe. That's the Irish Cream with the Glow, absolutely deadly. And we're going with the gold and the silver, the little fatty, which has been lights out with the black electric mirror flasher that we just showed you. I find that they work really well this time of year, which is late June and early July.
And as you were saying earlier, the reason is because they're imitating needlefish.
Needlefish, obviously this one's a needlefish. This is a bit bigger of a bait fish, but we don't have our big bait fish in the area this time of year. Mid-July to late July and then through August, I'd definitely be running baits, bigger baits, anchovies, cut plug herrings or whole herrings.
Okay.
So what kind of lengths are you running here?
I personally, I like 6 foot. I mean, I'm just over 6 foot, so I'm like, you know, my arms stretched, and gives me a little extra to tie my knots, obviously. So I'm right around 6 foot. I just find if you're running them with a flasher, Tyler, that if you get farther away from the flasher, the spoon can move correctly, and the flasher spinning around isn't yarding it back and forth like this, which I like to do with my hoochies to make my hoochies move. But with the spoons being farther back, the flasher's the attractor, and it's not playing with the way the spoon's supposed to work.
Spoon's got its own action, basically,
100%
right?
it does.
So it flutters in the water really nicely, and you want it to be able to do that, especially to attract more fish, because when it's too tight to the flasher, it just doesn't swim right.
I don't think it does. It doesn't work like it's supposed to work because the flasher's making it move differently. So I like 6 foot. I mean, even if you're fishing without flashers, it really doesn't matter how long it is because you don't have a flasher. So if you're fishing a flasher, 6 foot, no flasher, I mean, you do whatever you'd like because it doesn't matter.
Perfect. And when you're fishing your flashers off your cannonball, are you running 10, 20, 30 feet? What do you like?
You know, it depends on the areas I'm fishing. If I'm running a dummy flasher here, I'm like 10 feet off.
Okay.
And then I'm running my gear probably 15 feet back off my clip. Again, other areas I'm fishing much closer. If I'm fishing right on the bottom and fishing sand lance or hoochies right in the sand when the squid are around, I'm real close, 6 feet away from my clip.
Oh, wow, that close?
So I can keep it right on the bottom. You know, if I got 15 feet out, it's 9, 10 feet off the bottom. When my cannonball's on the bottom, only 6 feet away, I know my gear's right on the bottom.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's get to it.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the rod in the back holder. We're gonna set the tension here. A little bit not too tight, not too loose. Reel that down like that, nice and tight in the clip. The Wade started us off in 148 feet of water, and the downrigger is at 64 feet.
So are you running close or far? 20?
No, I do, like 15 feet back here, Tyler. Yeah, that's good, yeah.
All right, Wade, we're on our first pass. We're in 148 feet of water. We've got black flashes on with moon jelly. We've got green and white spoons on and a gold and silver spoon on. What about our speed? How fast are we trolling at?
Well, the wind's helping us here today, obviously, James. I personally don't troll based on my actual speed of my boat. I troll based on the angles of my downriggers and my rods and reels. So you can be doing 6 knots and your stuff's still straight up and down because you're going with the tide, and then vice versa going into it, they can be way behind your boat because you're dragging into it. I personally like mine. I run 12-pound cannonballs. Okay. I'm fortunate up here that we don't fish much more below 100 feet of water. So nice. 12-pound balls, 60 to 100 feet of water. And I run my downrigger lines at about a 45-degree angle.
Right.
You know, kind of keep it in that realm of 45 degrees.
And you know, if you're at 45, your gear is swimming properly.
The flashers are moving, you're dragging fast enough. I don't think you can troll too fast. If you go back to the old commercial troller days, those guys did like 4 and 5 knots when they're trolling spoons and stuff off the West Coast. So that's just my preference. I like the 45-degree angle, and hopefully it'll work for us tonight. We get a bite. Okay.
And so what's your average around here? You're looking like 17,
yeah,
22?
This time of year, it's all time of year here. Right now the fish are, when I say smaller, 15 to 21, 22 pounds. Yeah. Mid-July to late July, the run changes and our bigger fish come in, and then August is our big fish. If you're gonna get 30-plus pounders, it's gonna be in August. Yeah. I mean, there's a random unicorn swimming around here that you might get this time of year, but 30 pounders, nothing I'd be promising anybody right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the coho fishing, comes on in late July, early August.
All right, so let's talk about fisheries. So we're out here early June fishing for Chinook, which you can fish winter Chinooks. So you got July and August for Chinooks, but you also have a coho fishery. And do you guys have a sockeye fishery?
We do. Well, when they come by, the sockeye is, if they open it up and we have enough swimming by. We haven't had a sockeye fishery, I got to say 6 years now since they the last big run was at 20 million or something came by here, and right here in this bay.
Unreal, eh?
Killer whales were here.
Oh, wow. There
was sockeye everywhere. You couldn't keep them off. It's a lot of fun. So we haven't had that in a long time. Primarily in mid to late June and early July is Chinook only. Okay. The odd random coho kicking around. But come mid-July, that's when pinks show up. Yeah. Any sockeye might show up. And then the coho start showing up kind of late July and early August. And then August is, everything's around. Yeah. All of it's around. Yeah. Bottom fishing I find is better early season, like right now, versus August. And for the fact that the area hasn't been hit that hard yet.
Right. Okay.
It's had a rest from September through mid-June when everybody comes back. So if you're interested in adding some salmon, some bottom fish in with your salmon fishing, you know, till mid-July. I mean, you can still get them later, but you know, once you get, you know, a few hundred boats up here for a couple months pounding rain on these rock piles, it gets more difficult to, you know, find those lings and stuff like that. So
for sure.
Yeah, different times of year to fish for different stuff for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, basically you have everything. You probably got crabbing and prawning around as
well.
No
prawning, but we got lots of Dungeness crab right here in Hardin Bay. But the prawning is we don't have, the grounds isn't conducive here. It's very rocky and sandy. They like mud and dirt and stuff. So yeah, no prawning here, but great Dungeness and all your bottom fish, lingcod, rockfish, you know, salmon. Yeah, awesome. All of it's here. Yeah.
One of the neat things about Port Hardy is it's really easy to come here in your own boat. It's paved all the way up. There's a really good boat launch, and there's lots of accommodation options. Obviously, Bear Cove Cottages has great accommodation. I can stay at Bear Cove Cottages with my own boat. I can either pull it out each day and take it up to Wade's place or leave it in the marina. The challenge is you guys fill up really quickly.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Are there other accommodation options in the area for people, like camping or stuff like that?
Multiple options. Like you said, bring lots of campers. There's 3 campsites in Port Hardy. All fantastic campsites, all your hookups, all the stuff that you would need for here for a day, 2 weeks, whatever you'd like. Also, lots of other great hotels. It ultimately depends what you're needing, James. I mean, do you need accommodations with a kitchen and a barbecue and, you know, a fridge, or are you going with a charter outfit that you just need a hotel room somewhere to sleep? So yeah, there's plenty of options, and you know, we offer you know, bring your own boat, leave your trailer there, your boat there, and stay for as long as you want. Oh, I have 3 boats that are hooked to 3 of my 8 cabins. The other 8 cabins are available to whoever wants to come up and stay with us.
Oh, great. The other big question I had for you, fish processing. If you're going to catch fish here, it's a great place to catch fish. What does somebody do when they want to get their fish processed? They can either put it on ice, I guess, and keep it themselves, but is there a processor in town?
Yeah, we're really fortunate up here. We got a great company, local company, been in the, started, I think, 27 years ago, called Hardy Boys Smoked Fish. They can custom cut all your fish to whatever sizes you want. Government regulated, so they can take the skin off, they can take whatever, do whatever you want to it, and they give you what's called travel papers to leave Port Hardy with. So if you do end up having to talk to somebody about what you have in your coolers, you have all the information there and you get to go on your way. But they'll package it up, cooler it up, freeze it, keep it for you at their facility. They can even smoke it and ship it to you. They can ship it home to you at a later date if you don't want to take it with you. So yeah, it's really a fantastic company to work with, and we use it for all of our guests.
We're here on the inside of Duval Point. We're probably in the most protected waters we can get in at this time of the day in the wind. We're kind of sailing sideways here, but you know, there's a couple other local spots that we could have hit if the weather was a little better. Can you share what those spots might be and where they are?
For sure. So like you mentioned, we're kind of hiding from the wind on the lee side of Duval Island, Duval Point, which is right over here behind us. That's where we started when we first got out here. In the mornings, prior to wind, as we discussed, the backside of Duval Point is probably the most productive. That's where I would start my daily fishery every morning, as I would go there and, you know, give it a couple of rubs and see what's going on, watch the other boats, see what's happening. You see some rods and nets up, then there's some fish around. From there, I would run across to the tip of the Gordon Islands, which is across 𝗦𝗂𝗥𝗃𝗃 Channel, which is maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles. The backside of that is produces a lot of fish. Fantastic kelp beds. Get in really nice and tight. Again, not deep, only 100, 120 feet deep, but it really holds a lot of nice fish in there because they like the kelp beds. We have Masterman Island that's right over here, only again a couple of miles as a crow flies. Again, on a chart, if you have that kind of stuff, you'll see the backside of that covered in kelp beds, the whole backside. Very friendly bottom, nothing really to worry about, no reefs, nothing like that you need to worry about. And then Daphne is even a little bit closer. It fishes fantastic on an ebb tide. I don't fish it on a flood tide. As mentioned before, I hit a flood tide, a high flood tide at Duval, because all that water coming down 𝗦𝗂𝗥𝗃𝗃 Channel hits that. As it comes down, it does a hard left, and all that water piles up against that backside, holds the bait there, and if the bait's there, the fish are going to come find it. So those are, I mean, I'm born and raised here, been here fishing here for 35, 40 years. Those are the 4. Those are the 4 spots locally. Obviously, there's more spots to get to if you got a boat and you know the area and you got some information. There's lots of other spots, but those are places you can get to within 10 minutes of the marina that are safe and you can catch fish at.
This episode is brought to you by Parksville Boathouse, your full-service boat dealer and chandlery. Gone Fishing, serving Vancouver Island and beyond for over 30 years. West Coast fishing tackle, the quality anglers deserve.
One of the really neat things about Port Hardy, obviously it's got great salmon fishing, but it's got superb lingcod fishing and some pretty damn good halibut fishing as well. In this general area, we can see an area called the Gordon Group.
Yep.
What are we looking for when we're lingcod fishing?
Lingcod fishing, they like tidal movement. You know, it's a good tide. You don't always want to be there when the tide's ripping because it's hard to get your gear to the bottom, but they like water moving by because it brings the bait and the fish to them. And you're looking for steep structure. You know, anything from 180 to 350, but really steep. They like the rock piles. You sit, I do get on top of it and just start bouncing that gear down the sides of those rock piles. You're gonna pick up quillbacks, tiger rockfish, lingcod. I mean, there's kelp beds around here that have amazing black bass fishing. I mean, I love black bass. I mean, they're one of my favorite fish, and you get up 5-6 pounds. You bring a nice little light trout rod or a fly rod and get into some kelp bed. I mean, you have a blast. You don't need this heavy gear to catch these 5-pound fish to make it fun. So the lingcod fishing, this area here, if you got a GPS or a chart, I mean, look for the R's on the rock piles and the pinnacles. Look for the structure. You don't want it flat for lingcod and rockfish. You want that for halibut, and you want sand for halibut. So, again, within 5 miles from the marina here, you can salmon fish, you can halibut fish, you can rockfish and lingcod fish. It's all here.
Thought we had a bite, and then what did you do?
So sometimes they'll come take a swing maybe at your flasher or your lure and not aggressively attack it. So what I did there was I made it disappear, and you know, if he's still following it, now it's gone, he might follow it up and chase it up because he wants it, he's hungry. So I brought it up and then I dropped it right back down there and made that gear go up really fast, down really fast, like it's trying to get away. And lots of times you'll get a hit on that because that's Chinook or 𝗂𝗃 or whatever wants that bait. So now it's taken off, he's gonna go get it. So, I mean, sometimes 10-20% times you get a hit, sometimes you don't, but it's worth a try. I mean, I don't know. I've had a lot of times, I mean, James, you fished a lot. I mean, how many times you got to fish when you're bringing your stuff up? You know, you've been trolling around for half an hour and you haven't had a bite, and as soon as you hit the downrigger, it gets smacked by something because it disappeared and they wanted it. So, you know, it takes 30 seconds to do it, and if you get a bite 1 time out of 10, then that's one more bite you get.
So I'm going to show you a little trick. When fish are hitting occasionally like that and not sticking, obviously barbless hook, we're going to bend that down and inside a little ways so it's kind of bent in. Bend her down and inside like that. This helps them stick a little better. Wade, we're having one of those days where actually we've had 3 hits, but they can't get them to stick. We don't have a fish in the boat. What's your recommendation for a time like this? Switch it up? What do you want to do?
Yeah, you know, we've been getting hits, so I would, you know, one's got 2 hits, one's got 1, so I'd probably stay with the one that's got the 2 just because it is getting some sort of action on it. And then just start rolling through a couple other things. Maybe change up a flasher, change a flasher color, different lure. Obviously depths, you know, watching your sounders. If you're seeing stuff on there, make sure you follow that bait, follow that fish column. But you know, ultimately a lot of times, James, as you know, you just got to put in some time. You know, you can fish for 4 hours and have an hour of just craziness and it makes your whole day. So, I mean, like we just said, stick and stay, make it pay sometimes. And you know, that's why it's called fishing and not catching, right?
Got just enough time left on the clock to probably do one more tack through there, so we're going to pull the gear up, head back up, turn around and do one more run back down, see if we can pick up a fish.
All right, well, we do have some salmon on the boat. It's canned from last year's catch. We've got 3 bites today and nothing on the boat from the water around us. We're gonna keep the morale up, serve some canned salmon, mayonnaise, Dijon, some sweet relish on some nori. Absolutely delicious.
No, I'll never say no to that. So this is a Tyler specialty. This is his canned salmon, special Dutch recipe. Delicious. All right, so we've got time enough for one more tack here, so we're gonna drop the gear one more time. Got the same flasher, I switched over a different spoon. Gonna put that deep in the release clip and drop her down.
69 feet, are you okay with that? Hey, it's not an even number though.
I know even numbers on my boat, but you know, to each their own.
We'll try it, odds it is this time, eh?
Odds and evens.
Are you superstitious about the depths you run your downriggers at? If so, let us know down in the comments.
Wade, you've got a pretty long season here. When do things start to heat up?
The season gets rolling for salmon up here, usually late May, early July. If you want to come for a combined trip and have salmon and bottom fish combined, we usually don't get rolling till that time. Bottom fishing is good year-round, depending on closures and openings, obviously, but the weather is not super conducive through the winter time, so usually April-ish, you know, if you're thinking about coming up here by yourself to fish in the area, I would say April, you know, April and May. But just have a look at the weather and marine forecasts and, you know, have a look at what you're coming up to, because as we've dealt with tonight, you know, we can barely get out of the bay. So you need to, you know, get a bit farther away to really be productive up here.
One of the questions you guys ask in the comments a lot is if the guides have any tips or tricks for running any oils or stink on their lures. I typically don't, and I don't think Wade does either.
No, I'm not really big on the oils and the smells and the stinks, Tyler. Good quality gear, hooks, flashers, swivels, taking care of your gear, rinsing it, drying it, putting it away correctly, good rods, good reels. I mean, that's gonna ultimately help you catch more fish and or keep those fish on your line. Oh, something happening there, guys.
He's still there.
Slam them. Yeah, easy on.
On here. Something little there.
Little shake out. That's funny, I like that. Is that how you take pictures?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we just got a little shaker here, guys.
Yeah.
This is what's been hitting. This guy's gonna turn into a flying fish here in a second.
Little tiny shaker guy.
Can you hold the rod for a sec, Tyler? Thanks. So, just a little Chinook. Just gonna let him off. He's going, we're good. On the 𝗦𝗂𝗯𝘂𝗃𝗃.
Hey, it's a fish.
Hey.
Might not be the right size, but that's the game we play, right?
We're not skunked.
We're not skunked.
So nothing too substantial, but we did get a few bites, so we're using the right stuff. Just not getting the fish that we were looking for.
We had a couple of little bites to the boat here, one little salmon in, but you had a guided trip this morning and we're pretty successful. Given the weather that came up this afternoon, we were kind of limited as to where we could fish, but still, you know, gave us so much information as where we could go and where people can get out and go fishing for salmon around here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, as we talked about earlier, Tyler, this weather is very common this time of year, so you need to get out early. You can't not get out early.
The 6 a.m. start is the start.
Or earlier. If you want to catch fish at Port Hardy, you got to be on the water early. Okay. Come back to your campsite or your hotel by 2 or 3 o'clock and call it a day and have a nice dinner. But you know, you can't really plan on fishing in the afternoon here. It just doesn't work.
Wade, speaking of lodges, I'm really looking forward to heading back to yours with Tyler, maybe having a cold one and having a look at Bear Cove Cottages. It's been a great afternoon here on the water. We really appreciate you taking the time. And thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah, for sure, guys.
We had awesome day on the water. Got to fish with Wade, who showed us some nice spots. We had an amazing dinner in town at the sports bar. And now we're here at Cove Cottages, a really nice spot up here on the hill. You get to overlook the water. And it was just a fantastic day.
Really was, you know, thanks to Wade for taking us out and showing us some of his hot spots in Hardy. Had some challenging conditions. There was some wind to deal with, and we knew that was going to happen when we got up here, but we made the best of it. Had 4 bites, brought 1 little guy to the boat, but at least we found out the hot spots that Wade likes to fish in close to Port Hardy.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we came out here for the afternoon fish, and it's a typical northwest wind that came in, but still fishable. We still got 4 bites, and nothing wrong with that. And I think that anybody coming out here in the summertime could easily fish some of these 4 spots and do really, really well, you know, here in July and August. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of The Guide's Guide and learned some valuable tips and tricks for fishing in Port Hardy. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out to bring you some amazing content just like this.
Thanks for watching. This has been The Guide's Guide.